Hi, I'm Jerry Burnett, and this short podcast is going to teach you how to access the academic databases in your online library at your school. Now, what is on my screen is Motlow College, but the things I'm going to show you, they'll work for any college or university if you go to that home page. Colleges and universities have a variety of ways to get to their online library. There's on this home page, you can see that here that there's a quick link to the library. That's the one that's probably the quickest way to get there. But most home pages on most college and universities websites, they also have an A to Z index. So if you click on L, that would take you to your online library. But let's click on library here and go to the electronic library, the website for the library. Now there's many ways to do something on a computer. Many ways to get the end result. For example, if you wanted to get to Nashville and you were living in New York or California or Florida, you would take a different route, but you could still end up in Nashville. Well, there's many different ways to get good supporting material for your speeches. I'm only going to show you one. I'm going to show you what I think is one of the great ways, easy ways, actually one of the best databases to use for my course. But different instructors require different things, and different coursework that you have, you'll need to maybe access different databases. But I'm just going to show you one way so you can become familiar with. Now here on this left side it says databases A to Z. Usually electronic library for most schools will have a database. Sometimes they'll say database by topic or A to Z. Click on the A to Z database. Now it says Academic One file right at the top of the list, right here. A database is just a collection of all kinds of files, and they put them in alphabetical order so that you can find them more easily. If you were doing something health related, you would look in the H. If you needed a business type of database for a business course, you could probably find business under the letter B. You'd find business journals. Sad to say, Tennessee doesn't have communication journals and things under their letter C like they do in Ohio or in Michigan or even Kentucky and Georgia. But for my courses, Academic One file is usually at the top of the list or towards the top of the list, and it's a great one to use. Now when we click on this, it wants to know my username and password for my school. You'll want to know that you should keep your username and password at every school you attend somewhere so that you can go back and access their databases. Different schools use different databases, and you always need your username and password to get in because they actually pay for many of these databases to be used. So just know that you can't get real far into this without your username and password. So I'm going to submit my username and my password, and it's going to take me to Academic One file because that's the one I picked. Now there's many ways to do this. Right now I could just type maybe I'm doing a speech about balloons, and I'd want to type balloons here. But this isn't the way I suggest. What I suggest is always start with the advanced search feature. The advanced search feature will lead you to what is called a Boolean search. It also is an area where you can say you only want to have articles that are full text rather than abstracts or just titles. So let's click on advanced search, and now you see these boxes right here. This is called a Boolean search, and the way it got its name was there was a man named George Boole. He lived in England a long time ago, though. He was born in 1815. He only lived 49 years, but he was like a wizard at mathematics, philosophy, and logic. So he wrote different things and he created different things. He was really into the fields of math because he would deal with differential equations and algebraic logic. So he developed a way to kind of pare down and find what you need, and so they call this a Boolean search after George Boole. Now, let's say I'm doing my speech about football. So I type football into the Boolean search, and I click search. And when I do that, it'll bring up every article in Academic OneFile database that has the word football in it. And how many were there? Well, let's scroll down and see. Oh my goodness, there were 68,000 magazine articles, 410,000 newspaper articles. Wow, that's too much to go through. So let's say we only want the items with full text. One of the reasons I say to click on full text is it'll only bring up things that you can actually print out the whole article. And you don't really want to sit and read every article when you're calling it up. Once you've done this come into the database and you do your Boolean search, while you're there, print out double what you think you might need. If you need 3 citations, then get 6 sources. If you needed 5 citations, then get 10 sources, because you never know when you get an article whether you're really going to find anything in that article worth quoting or worth paraphrasing or worth discussing in your paper or in your speech. So I always encourage you, get double the amount of articles of what you need. Now in my classes, I ask that if you're required to give oral citations, whether it's 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 oral citations, I always ask that at least one of those citations come from the academic databases. And I presumably prefer you give Academic OneFile a try. It's got a lot of diverse topics, and I think you'll be able to find something. So you're going to do the advanced search. That leads you to the Boolean search. Then click on only full text articles so you can have the whole article. Now you look a little bit at the article, but this is still way too much. Use your back button at the top of the screen, and let's narrow down the search a little bit more. Let's say we want it to be about football and injuries. Well, this isn't going. There it is. Football, injuries. And let's say I'm a quarterback and I only want it to do bring up articles that have all 3 of these words in the article. So now I've said I want to have full text documents. I'll click that. And I only wanted the database to search for articles that have the word football, injuries, and quarterback. Now in the Boolean search there are these delineators. I could have said I wanted football and basketball, or maybe football and not basketball. You can pick for each line whether you want it to include and or not. And that's part of the Boolean search. So let's search now and see how many articles can we come up with that have football, injuries, and quarterback. Okay, we still have plenty to pick from. We have 163 magazine articles, over 1,000 newspaper articles. If you need images or videos, there's some of those here. So here's what I suggest. Do your academic research on the computer labs on your campus. You're paying probably a lab fee, so why not let your lab fee pay for the toner, pay for the paper, and print them out while you're at school rather than using up your own paper and toner at home. So you want to look at the article, see, do you think this will be a good article for my speech? Let's just suppose I think, nah, I don't want this article. Let me look at the second article. Concussion management. Yeah, I think that might be good for my speech, I say to myself. So I click on it, and I read just a little bit of it to see, do I think this is going to have something I can use? Oh, I think it might. Instead of reading the whole article, I send it to the printer. Now here's the kick. If you're on campus and you're at a computer lab, as soon as you send something to the printer, I highly recommend you get your little booty out of your chair, take your stapler, and go over to the printer. See how many pages it is. This just happens to be one page, page 18. But let's say your article's got 30 pages or 12 pages. Other people are using the printer in the printer lab, and they're coming up and they're rifling through all the papers trying to find their pages, and in the process they get yours all mixed up, or they grab some of yours. So I always suggest, as soon as you send something to the printer, get out of your chair, go to the printer, find all the pages, staple them together, and then don't bother reading them. Go back and sit down and go back to the next article. Now, another reason why I suggest you use Academic One File as a good database for speeches in my courses, first of all, they have a wide variety of topics. But more importantly, this is pretty cool. At the end of every article, they have an MLA citation already formatted for you. All you have to do is put the cursor at the end, highlight it. You don't need the URL. You only just need the citation, but you highlight it, right-click, copy it, and paste it right into a Word document on another screen. Now don't forget, you have to put them all in alphabetical order. Even though they've got the citation done for you properly, you still need to put the citations in order, decide whether you're going to double space or single space, turn them all into Oklahoma, which means a hanging indent. I show you in another podcast how to easily, globally highlight all your documents and get them into a hanging indent. So it's really nice that the citation is right here for you, but what if you're dealing with a teacher that wants everything in ML or APA, American Psychological Association? In my courses, I don't give you a choice. I ask for MLA. But if in another class, you can use the citation tool here, or you can take this information to easybib.com or the citation machine. But I'm just trying to give you a little broader perspective of how you use these tools even in other classrooms. So I've now got one article and I can try to get some information for it. If I use my back arrow again, I should go back to the list and I go down to the next one. Assessment of students with traumatic brain injury. No, I don't think I want that one. Cumulative head impact burden in high school football. Yeah, I'm thinking, wow, it was my high school days when I got my concussion. So I click on that one. I send it to I read a little bit, I read the abstract, but if you recall, we said we wanted full text documents. So the whole document's going to be here. And look, there's even some charts. I might be able to use these charts and cite some information from the charts in my speech. So this looks like a great article. I'll send it to the printer, I'll get up, I'll staple it together, and I'll wait until I get home to highlight it and choose the information that I want to include in my speech. So this is now, you know how to do an advanced search, you know how to do a Boolean search. Always make sure you ask for full text articles, and if you use Academic One File, you'll be able to go to the bottom of every article and copy and paste your MLA citation. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. Thanks.